There we go. Shout out to the gang in the building. We are in here back for another live stream. How's everybody doing? Hopefully y'all can hear me. Hopefully y'all can see me, know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear and see me. Because y'all know, oh, hold on a second. We up here looking all crispy and clean on the screen. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE of patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. Y'all make sure you check it out. Wow, we got a lot to get into today. We're going to talk about Brian Steele, what he's got going on. We're going to talk about Mr. Clayton Howard. He's back in the building and he's got something to say about Tyrone Blackburn. What is going on with this guy? And then, of course, we got some updates when it comes to our Karen Reed friends, namely Kelly Dever, Officer Dever, and Yuri Bukhenik. We're going to get into it here shortly. But before I do, I got to say what's up to the people, man. We got everybody in the building. Shout out to y'all. Y'all know, first off, my awesome, amazing Amy is in the building. Shout out to Amy. Slim Life is in here. We got Nancy in the building. Sharon's in here as well. Good morning. Sean P, my dog. What's up, man? We got Jay Warren in the building. Good to see you. Nosy Rosie's up in here. Taco Tuesday. It's your day. Shout out to Taco Tuesday in the building. CPE is just on time. Just in time, he says. Good to see you in here, CPE. And Tanya's in here as well. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Again, thank you to everybody who's in the building. I appreciate all of y'all being here. I do not ask for much on this show, but the one thing that I do ask is that you guys like the video while you're here. All right. Likes are free. It helps the channel continue to grow. It lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show. It shares this live stream, whatever live streams we've done in the past, all the videos we've done, the videos we'll done with the future with more people. So if y'all could make sure you like the video on your way in, I appreciate it. If you're feeling extra generous, you can also share the video as well. You can share it over on X, you can share it on Facebook, you can share it on Instagram, and you can even take the link and share it into your group chat and let people know what's going on and why you're here. All right. So shout out to everybody who goes the extra step and does that. I appreciate y'all so much. Appreciate the love. Also, I will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. So thank you again to everybody. Excuse me. Thank you again to everybody who shares out the video and also everyone who super chats. All right. Thank y'all for that. I'll be reading super chats here in a second. I got to share out my own video because I haven't even shared it yet to make sure people know that we're here, and then we'll get into it. All right. I know y'all are ready to get into it and find out what is going on with this craziness. But first, I have to shout out my awesome, amazing Amy is in the building. Look at Amy showing love. She didn't gift 1 membership. She didn't give 3. She didn't give 5. Amy is over here gifting 10 memberships. Always showing love. Always showing up. Never misses a show. She's in the chat, keeping the chat nice and clean. Y'all having a good time in there and give some great insight as y'all heard, especially on yesterday's show. So big shout out to Amy. If you got a membership from Amy, she gifted 10 of y'all memberships. Make sure you guys say thank you. You get an opportunity to get your name highlighted in green, use some of the custom emojis, and you get access to the members only content here on the ClassE YouTube channel. And you get a first look at any videos we drop here on the channel. So if y'all haven't checked out the memberships, make sure you do that. And big shout out to Amy. All right. We got a couple people in here I missed, and I want to see what's up. Y'all said Yuri wasn't fired. Was he? I don't know. I put a question mark in the description and in the title. All right. So y'all chill out. I'm not saying he's fired. We're just going to find out if he was. Y'all can give your opinion on that. All right. We've got Misbehaving is in here in the building. I appreciate you being here, Misbehaving. Who else did I see? I see all the members in the building. Shout out to the member gang in here. Strong. He was rehomed. He was rehomed like Chloe. Okay, are we still saying Chloe was rehomed? Oh man. Yeah. All the officers involved have either been fired, retired, or demoted. Oh, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Thank you for turning off the background. Oh, is my background missing? What happened? Shout out to everyone who's just catching the live as well. Good to see y'all. We've got Bonnie Finley in here. Good morning. Good morning. We've got Curious Coco in the building. How are y'all feeling on this Taco Tuesday? Let me know how y'all are feeling. Rehomed until retirement. Dang. You think they got him on desk duty? We're going to find out. Bukaki rehomed, keeping with the theme of the Karen Reed case. A lot of these guys got embarrassed, and we're going to get into it here shortly. But remember, Yuri didn't get off scot-free initially. He was reprimanded for the way he handled not only Proctor, but the way he handled and participated in this investigation too. We're going to get into that shortly, but I know most of y'all know what's going on. Yuri and Kelly are both MIA. One can only hope and dream. Yeah. We might have some faith back in the BPD, but I highly doubt it. They are fracturing. Hope Turtle Boy trial goes ahead because that really has the makings of smashing the whole Canton Mafia apart. Wow. I don't know. You think he wants to go ahead, or do you think TB wishes the charges would just be dropped? Interesting to see. Amy is the greatest. That's true. Thanks again. This makes me so happy. Congratulations on your membership, Bonnie. Northern DC is in the building. What up? I'm looking forward to see what else Proctor said about TB in his case. His text about to be released. Oh, really? Okay, yeah, he does not want it to go forward. I agree. So do we have, since y'all are on this, I haven't been keeping up to date with his trial. When is that taking place? When is it supposed to start? Is it going to be televised? I don't know. Can you get a Rule 22 for your own trial? I mean, will he be able to live stream himself on trial? I highly doubt it. DUI guy did an interview with Karen Reed's civil attorney. The O'Keefes tried to deposition her and her parents as they were preparing for retrial. They could have used the depots against her in the criminal trial. Of course they did. They want to get any advantage they could because this case was BS from the beginning. Yuri got fired. We're about to find out. I thought he got demoted to I thought he got demoted. Some are calling it demotion. Others are calling it a firing. We're going to talk about it. You guys will get to weigh in and give your decision. Slim Life in the building with the 5 bomb says, good morning, my amazing CEB family. I hope everyone has an amazing day. I love y'all. And remember, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Amen and amen. Stay cool in this heat. Yeah, it's going hot here in Atlanta today. What are we getting up to? 95, I think. Woo, sheesh, 95. Ain't nobody got time for that. We have the hearing for TB is in 3 weeks. Okay, we got time on that, so I won't trip about it. They are still in the discovery phase, so no date yet. I am split on whether TB wants to or not. Suspect Aiden as a journalist has conflicting feelings on that too. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it takes your time and your resources and your energy. Although I think he's got a pretty easily winnable case. It's just annoying, man. And being in the court system just sucks overall. So like I say to y'all all the time, stay on this side of the law as much as you can. Watch, observe, comment if you got to do jury duty. But other than that, you don't really want to be involved in litigation in general. Amy said it's hot wherever you are. Oh, why she talk? Amy always puts comments in there talking about herself. It's crazy. The CW is dragging. He's dragging something Turtle Boy. Mark Bertero is his attorney. Bertero. He's on top of it. I've seen him on X, I think, a couple of times. But again, I'm not following TB stuff closely. I was so absorbed with Karen Reed. I didn't get into it. So we've got Stephen Callie in the building, dropping the 2 bomb. Thank you, Stephen Callie. Those of y'all just tuning in, we are going to get what's happening with Yuri Bukhenik here shortly. We'll find out if he got fired or if he was rehomed, as they're saying it. Crazy. We need to check in on Shannon Burgess, by the way. Does anybody know, or does anybody have an update on whether Shannon is still working for Aperture or not? He was rehomed. That is crazy. Y'all are saying he's rehomed. That is wild. Yep, that's why I laugh when folks say just sue It shows they know nothing about how draining the process is. Guys, I've been saying I'm going to talk about this on the Patreon. I had to fight a lawsuit here on this channel. I had to fight a lawsuit. And man, when I tell you that was exhausting, the feeling of not knowing what's going to happen, how the next move is going to go, it was terrible. So I'm telling you from personal experience, even if it's something simple like a copyright issue, you don't want to go into it. I read he was reassigned and rehomed. Yeah, we're going to talk about it shortly. SB is still working for Aperture from what I last saw. Okay, we'll talk about that a little later. We're going to go ahead and get to the show. Again, if y'all haven't yet, please make sure you like the video on your way in. Guys, likes are free. There's over 500 of you in the building. I know more will be joining shortly. Make sure you guys take a second and like the video. We've got a quick segment we're going to go into. I need to title this segment. Maybe we'll call it Hot Takes. But either way, Brian Steele is back in the news when it comes to what's going on with the YSL trial. Now, I know you guys are saying, why are we still talking about YSL? Well, because this whole case was mishandled by the district attorney's office. And now he has some things he wants to talk to Judge Whitaker about when it comes to Young Thug's, what do we call it? His sentencing, I guess we should say. So Brian Steele recently filed a motion. He wants to talk to Judge Whitaker about what happened with Young Thug. We know we've already seen in the past, Brian Steele asked for a modification because Young Thug needed to handle some business inside of Atlanta, and Judge Whitaker granted that motion. So now, what is Brian Steele talking about here? Shout out to Thugger Daily, the GOAT of YSL coverage, and will forever be known as that. Brian Steele has filed a motion to modify sentence on behalf of Young Thug. What is going on here? It says he is asking for a hearing for the judge to reconsider and modify some of Young Thug's probation terms, which he has the right to ask for within 1 year of being sentenced. Now we're coming up on a year. I think it'll be probably four or 5 months before we get to that year mark. So it's going to be interesting to see what Judge Whitaker says on this one, because he's already been pretty lenient when it comes to Young Thug. Young Thug's been chilling. He's been keeping his nose clean, working on some music, hanging out with Maria. We haven't really seen or heard too much of him. But here's what the motion says. So we have a motion to modify the sentence. Comes now Jeffrey Williams by and through undersigned counsel and hereby files this motion to modify his sentence in the above referenced case. In support of this motion, Mr. Williams shows as follows. On or about October, okay, so it was October 31st, 2024, Mr. Williams was sentenced by this honorable court. Pursuant to OCGA 1710 1F, a motion to modify sentence is timely filed within 1 year of the date in which the sentence is imposed or within 120 days after the receipt by the sentencing court of the remitter upon affirmance of the conviction of direct appeal. All right. And then he cites the case there where they're allowed to be able to do this, right? And he says, Mr. Williams respectfully requests the honorable court to modify this sentence. Wherefore, Mr. Williams respectfully requests a hearing on this motion, and at the conclusion of the same, asks this honorable court to grant the above requested relief and modify. So we're going to find out what actually they're requesting, because we don't know yet. We haven't seen any more documentation on whether Brian Steele's asking for certain things to be removed, if they want to change how it was structured. So we're going to keep you guys up to date on what we hear from that. Shout out to Thugger Daily for always bringing the YSL updates in a timely manner. I will keep you guys updated on what's going on here. But I wanted to share that because y'all know we're YSL to the core. And really, we started going down this path of being more on the legal side or the law tube side of things because of YSL. So shout out to Young Thug up in here. All right, let me see. What are y'all saying in the building? You said Aperture. Oh, something about Aperture. Sorry about that. Stressful. Oh, man, we dealt with it. I'll talk about it over on the Patreon. What happened? Copyright stuff, man. You know, sometimes, as we've seen on this channel and as we talked about, people like to abuse certain systems. And here on the channel, you guys know I react to a lot of content. I use and give credit when I react and use certain content. There's something called fair use when it comes to YouTube. You're legally allowed under fair use and under YouTube policies to react or comment on someone else's video or content. But someone in the YouTube community got in their feelings. They didn't like either the comments on the video, they didn't like how the video was done, and then we had to fight copyright issues there. It was not fun, but we won at the end of the day. We made it happen. So I'm going to talk about it on the Patreon at some point. So if y'all haven't gone over there, make sure you check it out. I also dropped a couple documents over there yesterday or this weekend, I believe. So make sure y'all go check that out. Right, we got over 1,000 of you in the building. If you guys could, please like the video. I will be begging for y'all to like the videos until I'm no longer on YouTube, which is going to be a long time. So y'all get used to it. Make sure you get those likes up, please. They're free. All right. Might as well ask Paige for modifications. The worst that can happen is she says no. Exactly. Exactly. And especially it's been since October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. We're 9 months in. And Young Thug's he's been behaving himself. So I don't know. He's this forever home. Not sure what that means. Good morning from Canada. Shout out to the North. Good to see y'all in here. Man, Shannon is still on Aperture website as of 5 minutes ago. Okay. He's still on the website as an expert. Ugh.
Stop the cap.
Yikes. That's funny to see. Good morning to everyone just joining us as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into some interesting stuff. So, in a very interesting turn of events, I did not see happening. We are having to talk about this man, this attorney, Tyrone Blackburn. This guy is everywhere. And now we're hearing about how Tyrone Blackburn was involved not only with the Diddy trial, because we know Tyrone has been doing this thing and filing lawsuits against Diddy. But when it comes to this lawsuit against Cassie that involved an escort, we talked about him, Mr. Clayton Howard, and what he had going on. So we're going to talk about it here. We're going to look exactly what Clayton Howard was alleging Tyrone Blackburn did in his lawsuit. If y'all saw, or if you missed the first video where we talked about this, make sure you go back and watch that video, because we actually break down everything that's in the lawsuit, what's being alleged that Cassie did, what's being alleged that Diddy did, and what Mr. Clayton Howard had to deal with. Now, he did file this lawsuit pro se. And the reason he did that is because he's alleging certain things were going on behind the scene, not only with the Department, not the Department of Defense, but essentially the federal government in trying to bring these charges against Diddy, but with his own attorney at the time, Tyrone Blackburn. So let's go ahead. We're actually going to hear from Mr. Howard, thanks to TMZ, see what they're talking about. And then I will take you guys to the lawsuit and we'll look at exactly what Clayton Howard is saying that Tyrone Blackburn did. Check this out.
One, I was in an economic position where I really needed the money. Two, Mr. Combs is incredibly powerful, and Miss Ventura had no problem in her use of that power, which has actually been revealed now because we've heard recordings of her threatening people. We've seen text messages. There are many different sides to people, and even Cassie is a normal individual. She has herself. There's a side to her that people don't, the side that manipulated Sean Combs' power, the side that embraced his power and his position to do things that she wanted. So I was always afraid if I stopped coming, then I would start having problems, because she threatened me several times not to come and made me feel uncomfortable that I would come to see her just to avoid any problem with Sean Combs. He's incredibly powerful. He has people that could follow me around, damaging my life for years, and it would cost him nothing to do.
That's what a lot of people say.
I want to say I continued in the situation, but not as much. There was many times that I did stall them, flake on them, as the word goes, and not show up. But I kept the relationship strong enough that they never thought I was trying to turn on them or betray their secrets. I have been trying to file litigation for this matter against Sean Combs and Cassie since, I want to say, March of 2024, maybe February. But I was represented by Tyrone Blackburn. And Blackburn has a substantial amount of litigation against Sean Combs that The conviction of Sean Combs was dependent on him winning a lot of his civil cases. My attorney intentionally held the filing back to protect the credibility of Cassie. Tyrone Blackburn, he intentionally held it back. I have numerous communications to him where I am directly informing him to file. He would talk to the prosecutors, and then he would duck me for weeks and not file the lawsuit. So this is why
it's crazy, guys. We talked about this. We talked about this when I read the lawsuit, and I had no idea it was Tyrone Blackburn. Now that we're hearing this, it basically backs up everything I was saying in that video where I said it looks like what happened is the federal government talked to this man's attorney and say, hey, y'all need to chill on these lawsuits, especially lawsuits that mention Cassie. You know why? Because Cassie is our star witness, and we don't want anything coming out that the defense can use and say, oh, look at this. Cassie's not a victim. There's been several people who are alleging that Cassie was actually the one who was behind a lot of the debauchery that was going on, right? So now Clayton Howard is actually backing up that theory and saying his attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, would go and talk to the prosecutors, and then he would just ignore he would ignore Clayton's phone calls. I want to see these text messages too. I know they'll come out in evidence.
Was never filed. I feel he was working with them. He had conversations with them without me. He literally would disobey my direct instruction. I'm the client. I'm the one who's supposed to direct my attorney to make decisions.
Yep.
If I tell you to exercise a statute for a claim, as my attorney, you can either quit or you can do it. What Tyrone did was duck me into the statute of the Gender Motivated Violence Act that's expired this year, in March. He ducked me until maybe 48 hours before the expiration of the statute. So I wouldn't have enough time to draft the complaint that I filed myself that you found me with now.
If he can prove that, this might be the final nail in the coffin for Tyrone Blackburn. Guys, this is huge that his attorney was just ignoring him. And then he's saying the time limit on the statute ran out. He's supposed to be protecting his client's rights, not putting them at risk.
U.S. Attorney's Office knows all of this and investigated her. And instead of prosecuting her, allowed her to have immunity and didn't prosecute her. Me going after her for criminal charges kind of makes like vindictive. And I don't want that. That's the mission of my lawsuit. The mission of my lawsuit is to obtain justice for the things that I truthfully know Cassandra did. It's not about having her put in prison. I don't want to destroy her life. She has 3 beautiful children. She seems happily married. The truth of the matter is, does that change what she did? This facade of a lie. I would never be talking about this. No one would ever believe me that I had the relationship I had with Cassie. Cassie is the one who brought me forward. She did this to herself. I told the U.S. Attorney's Office the truth of both parties, that they were co-conspirators. They were involved. They verified hotel locations. I saw text messages between me and Cassie. The U.S. Attorney's Office knew that Cassie was criminally complicit. But Sean Combs was more important, so they totally ignored it. It makes no sense for me to try to get criminal charges. They don't care about male victims. They care about empowering Cassie, and forgive me for saying this, with the Me Too movement.
Facts, man. Shout out to Clayton Howard. On point. We said this before. And God, it's not in this, in my opinion, it shouldn't be a male versus female thing. It's who is the victim and who is actually the aggressor. And for some reason, I guess because they needed her as a star witness in this losing case that they had, the federal government decided not to involve Cassie in this indictment. And if you guys are angry, and if you want to call it rich man justice, as Nancy Grace did, why are we not talking about Cassie getting immunity? Why? Do you really care about victims, or did you just want to see Diddy buried under the ground? And understandably so. I'm not arguing that. If you feel that way, fine. But why are we going to hold everybody accountable? We've seen evidence upon evidence upon evidence that Cassie was just not purely a victim here. And we're just letting that go. Some of y'all are just letting that go. I won't. We're not going to do that here. And we're going to talk about Tyrone Blackburn's part in this here in just a second. So check this out. This is going back to Clayton Howard's immaculately written lawsuit against Cassie. Again, he filed this and wrote this pro se. He did it all on his own. And he lays out exactly why Tyrone Blackburn did him dirty and what happened. And he's saying he has receipts. He's got text messages and cell phone logs. We'll have to see what happened here. If you go to this section 6, it says Mr. Howard cooperates with the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. What happened? In mid-December 2023, agents from the Department of Homeland Security investigators contacted Mr. Howard regarding his encounter with Mr. Combs and Cassie, requesting that he come in for an interview. Having no experience in law at the time, Mr. Howard contacted his local criminal attorney, who was also not an expert in federal criminal law. Y'all can guess who that is. In response, the U.S. Attorney's Office provided counsel to advise and represent Mr. Howard during the interview for legal purposes. Jeez. Mr. Howard spent the next year and a half as a cooperating government witness for the Southern District of New York. Mr. Howard provided airline payment receipts, boarding passes, dates, and photos of hotels to the government. More importantly, Mr. Howard provided corroboration of illegal activities. Mr. Howard could only corroborate a decade of illegal activity beginning in 2009 and concluding in late 2019. During this time period, Mr. Howard witnessed assaults against Cassie, drug use, and illegal activity, and witnessed. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Mr. Howard was additionally drugged by both Cassie and Diddy on 2 separate occasions. But they don't want to talk about Cassie drugging somebody, right? Let's just give her immunity. No big deal. Mr. Howard was the male provider who impregnated Cassie after an encounter in October 2013. As the interview process progressed, Mr. Howard was asked for details as he recalled them. Prosecutor Maureen Comey assisted Mr. Howard in a mention of the recollection by instructing him during an interview to write down his memories as he recalled them due to the length of time that had elapsed since the conclusion of the relationship. Mr. Howard could then use these notes and present them to prosecutors who fact-checked the dates and locations for evidence that supported all his allegations. The U.S. Attorney was able to establish Mr. Howard's credibility after investigating his claims. Oh my. Now I'm wishing we would have read this entire lawsuit live, because Clayton Howard is alleging that the U.S. Attorney took everything that he said and admitted that it's credible. They signed off on it, which means that the U.S. Attorney's Office knew, and this is obvious, that Cassie had been an aggressor, that Cassie victimized someone, and as alleged by Mr. Howard here, victimized him. But they decided to let that go. They needed a star witness. And we have Cassie Ventura on the stand crying and talking about how much of a victim she was and pretending like Mr. Howard doesn't exist. This fact alone, if true, it really brings a lot of credibility to this lawsuit. And I think it's interesting that, again, so many people aren't talking about this, but we're here to find out about Tyrone Blackburn. So let's keep it going. We know Cassie is disgusting. The U.S. Attorney verified encounters at the Gramercy Park Hotel in New York, the Handren Hotel, and other hotels. I'm not going to read all of them because I'm going to mispronounce their names. Mr. Howard verified the SA allegation within this complaint when he provided supporting travel fare receipts for his departure and arrival flights to Los Angeles on the morning he was assaulted. He's got the receipts, guys. As the investigation continued, the U.S. Attorney became aware of criminality in the actions of Cassie. Because Cassie was not the target of the investigation, Mr. Howard's allegations against her were not acted upon. Attorneys provided by the U.S. Attorney worked to dissuade Mr. Howard from filing civil action against Mr. Combs and Cassie. Told you. What? The attorneys argued all allegations against Cassie would expose her to criminal liability and therefore might damage her credibility as a witness and her public image. Jesus. Mr. Howard, as the client, directly instructed attorney Tyrone Blackburn to file his action against the defendants before the expiration of a statute made available to adult survivors of SA in New York. Mr. Blackburn began as directed by first contacting attorney Douglas Wingdor, seeking to quietly settle litigation with Cassie and offering her an opportunity to avoid exposure to all allegations once the lawsuit was made public after filing. Instead of Mr. Wingdor embracing this opportunity to protect his client's image from all allegations he knew to be true, he sought the assistance of the U.S. attorney to dissuade Tyrone Blackburn from filing until after the criminal trial of Sean Combs. What? Y'all need to pray for Clayton Howard. This man needs to be protected because he knows too much. He's seen too much. And y'all know, you've seen how Cassie is. You think she wants to give up $1 of that $20 million plus $10 million settlement she got? Yikes. The decision, although it protected Cassie's credibility before the trial, compromised Mr. Howard's legal action within the state of New York. Filing after the trial would mean Mr. Howard would lose his right to action in the state of New York under the applicable statute being used at the time. The time ran out, like he said. A calculated and coordinated effort has been made to protect Cassie from criminal liability that can be established. In protecting Cassie, the civil rights of Mr. Howard and other potential victims of Cassie who may exist and are entitled to civil action against her as their offender have been compromised. Their offender has been compromised. Cassie claims to have been forced, but despite her alleged trauma, she willingly and intentionally victimized, manipulated, and harmed others. Where are the Cassie apologists at now? They're awfully quiet right now about this. Don't y'all find that strange? Mr. Howard is entitled to justice under the same laws that provided justice to Cassie. No, it only applies to women. Sorry about that. Mr. Combs, Diddy, and Cassie should be held accountable for their actions jointly based on Mr. Howard's verified encounters and personal experiences and should not be minimized due to the allegations, the alleged victimhood of Cassie. Based on the factual allegations presented above, Mr. Howard incorporates all facts as his basis for the causes of actions listed below. Mr. Howard seeks the justice of this court to provide that which has been denied by those who seek to conceal the truth in order to protect false information provided by the defendants. Boy, no wonder he's having trouble finding an attorney. To go up against a U.S. attorney, it's not going to be fun. Although he has the receipts and hopefully he kept copies of them. He just didn't say, oh yeah, guys, here's my original receipts for all the travel and everywhere I've been, because then that's just going to be a tough look for him. It makes me wonder why no one else has taken this case. I mean, again, as I said, I hate to say it, where's Tony Busby at? I mean, Tony Busby, this should seem like an easy win. So I just feel like there's some type of information missing here. I do look forward to and want to hear a response from Cassie's camp because they have to say something. I'm sure Diddy's camp will be speaking out about this as well. Y'all have to let me know what you think about this. Cassie's it seems like she's gonna end up having to give up some of that money she got. Maybe it'll all fall on Diddy. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments and in the chat. Wow. Where is all the smoke for Cat? We're equal accountability over here. Where is the smoke for Cassie? She played the victim. She cried on the stand and said, oh, he made me do it. Wild, man. What do y'all feel about this? He said, cook. Yeah, we up here cooking this morning. Y'all know what time it is. They admitted she was a participant when they gave her immunity. Yes, very true. But We didn't know the details. We didn't know the details. Now, thanks to Clayton Howard, we know some of the details. And again, this is, where did he say it? This is huge about the U.S. attorney. Attorneys provided by a U.S. attorney worked to dissuade Mr. Howard from filing civil action against Diddy and Cassie. Look at this. If this is true, guys, this is insane. Well, it's not surprising, but it's still crazy. The attorneys argued that the allegations against Cassie would expose her to criminal liability and therefore might damage her credibility as a witness and her public image. Funny thing about this statement is, despite the jury even knowing that Clayton Howard was the one involved in this, they still found that Cassie was not a credible witness. They found that Jane Doe wasn't a credible witness. Because the only thing they said is these were some 304s who were getting flown out to have some adult fun. And unfortunately, the law says you can't do that. Unfortunately for Diddy, not for me. I'm good.
Hey, yo.
But y'all know what I'm saying. The jury looked at this, no enterprise. Y'all wanted to be there. And the only thing Diddy is guilty of is flying y'all out to She wasn't credible from the beginning. They should have never brought this case. Shout out to my guy Brock in the building. He says, salute to you, bro. I see you working hard and I'm proud of you. Keep pushing. Thank you, man. All gas, no brakes. What are brakes? What are we talking about here? We don't stop. Equal opportunity for who? This was a sham from the door. They wanted to expose him while making her look like the victim, and it failed. 12 people saw this. Well, we know at least 13 people saw this because remember, guys, an alternate juror came out and said, the jury got this right. These witnesses weren't credible. We saw the videos. Cassie looked like she was enjoying it.
Hey, yo.
Nah, can't do it. So absolutely, yes. They tried to make Cassie look like the victim, and all of y'all watching the channel and commenting, most of you, I won't say all, most of you weren't buying it either. Man, come on, Cat, get this chick off the stand. What is she doing here? They would have had a better time putting Meek Mill on the stand.
Hey, yo.
Oh, God. Oh, not Meek Mill. Oh, my goodness. What I'm confused about are all these other men and women that are bringing civil suits towards Diddy for alleged assault. Why weren't they in this trial? Don't be confused about it. The reason that they weren't is because it didn't fit the narrative they were trying to paint. We just talked about this. This man had an excellent testimony. I think would have been great to hear during the trial if he were the defense. This does not help the prosecution at all. Clayton Howard's testimony doesn't help them because it shows Cassie being involved. And then what? They're supposed to take the credibility of Cassie's previous testimony and just say, oh, well, you know, she's still a victim, though. What? Ah, man, no. This was all about taking down the big fish as usual. The entire camp, Diddy is crazy glaze. I never paid attention to his lifestyle. Me either. Did you speak about Cassie's escort that spoke out? I just got here. Yes, we did several videos about it, dropped over the weekend, and we just talked about it here. So you can always rewind, and I'll be posting clips of this later on. Put Lil Woody from the YSL case on the stand. No, Woody needs to stay out of trouble. Woody actually got arrested allegedly recently, but I'm not getting into that. Please go live your life, man. The whole Diddy camp, laugh out loud, agree, a hot mess, drug in court. I just didn't care about either of them. No. And what's even worse, somebody trying to play a victim. And you know what? We were killing, and specifically me. So I'll say me. I was killing Diddy for that video he made. Like, Y'all remember? I apologize for what y'all saw in that video. It was just bad. I should have never done that to Cassie. It was terrible. And I'm sorry that happened. I was like, what in the world is this man doing? Why is he putting out this video before court? Come to find out, it was a brilliant and smart move on his defense team's part, because they never argued the DV, and the DV wasn't a part of this case. So now we have that. Diddy saying, yeah, I messed up. I shouldn't have put my hands on her. Fine. But all this other stuff, what we're actually going to trial for, can we talk about that? Or y'all are just going to let Cassie not be held accountable? What are we doing here? Diego and the powers that be behind Ciroc are behind all this. Yeah, they had to teach him a lesson, I guess. Those people had the power and influence to bring this forward through the feds. And people are saying, oh, it's purely because Cassie filed a civil lawsuit.
Stop the cap.
No. Nope. No. I don't agree. I don't agree at all. I don't think it's purely because Cassie filed a civil lawsuit. I think there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. All right. I know y'all are ready to talk about Yuri and what's going on there. So we'll get into that here in just a second. I have a problem with the judge telling the jury that closing arguments is not evidence and then using closing to keep Diddy in jail for DV toward Jane Doe when she touched him first. Well, the problem is Diddy's defense team during court proceedings, not during closing argument, said, hey guys, if this were a DV case, we'd have to throw up our hands and put Diddy in jail ourselves, because y'all know he apologized. He said what he did was wrong. And we are not arguing that. But what we are saying is the RICO, the trafficking, the Mann Act, it doesn't apply here. So the judge, although this isn't a direct DV case, is still able to take the fact that not only did they show the video in court, not only did Diddy admit to it and say it was wrong, not only did his defense team say he's guilty of DV, but thank God the statute of limitations ran out. The judge gets to factor that in. So it's unfortunate for Diddy. I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Should have kept his hands to himself, but the judge is able to factor that in. It was only 2 months prior that Diddy burned those ruining Ciroc for being racist. He cost them multi-millions. Yeah, Diddy was about to go do his own thing and they weren't having it. I think KK is a Fed for real. How is she not called as a witness and the defense defended her too? It's possible. They say the same thing about Diddy. This is just their way of collecting. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Again, big shout out to everyone that's in here. Thank you to all 500 of you that liked the video. Guys, I beg for likes. Likes are free. Can you guys please like the video? Please. I don't ask for too much. All right, let's get out of this. Let's go ahead and talk about Yuri. Lord. This Karen Reed case is the gift that keeps on giving. Let me go ahead and get Karen Reed up here. Where is her picture? Somewhere. All right, here we go. So recently we found out that something's going on with our guy, Yuri Bukhenik. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, he was just reassigned. Some people are saying, man, this guy got fired. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide how you look at this. Now, factually, it's looking like he just was reassigned after everything that happened, not only during this investigation before the Karen Reed trial, during the Karen Reed trial with Proctor being fired. We're going to talk about Tully here in a second as well. And now it looks like it's Yuri's turn. A lot of stuff going on here. Let's see what happened.
during Karen Reed's second murder trial. And now the Massachusetts State Police sergeant who supervised the Reed investigation has been reassigned. Our NBC 10's Michael Rosenfield joining us live tonight. Michael, do we know where the sergeant's been moved to?
Priscilla, he'll be working right here at the state police headquarters in Framingham on administrative duties for the time being. It's the latest fallout in the Karen Reed investigation.
Administrative
Sergeant
duty?
Yuri Bukhenik, one of the top investigators in the high-profile Karen Reed case, suddenly reassigned. He's being moved out of his job at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, considered a plum assignment.
It's difficult to get into these units, especially as a supervisor. These are very coveted positions. You can spend the rest of your career there. You develop a certain level of expertise, which also makes you marketable for a second career once you retire.
State police say Bukhenik has now been temporarily reassigned to the Division of Standards and Training at headquarters in Framingham, where he'll perform a variety of administrative functions in support of daily operations.
It is not a demotion because he's allowed to retain his rank.
Oh, come on, man. I hate to interrupt you. Really? It's not a demotion. He's doing it for his mental health, you know? It's just a sidestep. He wants to be out of the field. He's just taking on a different role. Let me ask you guys this. If your company sent you an email, say, hey, we're not going to demote you, but we're just going to move you over here to another area. And actually, it's not going to be for this company. It's going to be for another company. How would y'all feel about that? Would you feel like it's a promotion, things are the same, or you're getting demoted? Just looking at it with a little bit of common sense.
Operations.
It is not a demotion because he's allowed to retain his rank. However, the change of assignment is absolutely a disciplinary action on behalf of the department against Sergeant Bukhenik.
The investigation was conducted with honor and integrity.
Bukhenik was the supervisor of Trooper Michael Proctor at the Norfolk DA's office. Proctor was fired after improper text messages he sent about Karen Reed were revealed. Bukhenik, who was initially disciplined with a loss of vacation time, was criticized for not holding Proctor accountable for his behavior. State police have not said why Bukhenik has now been reassigned.
A supervisor is there to maintain order. You nip it in the bud. Enough with this banter, enough with going back and forth. And if warranted, you call that trooper in, you sit him down, and there's a series of disciplinary actions.
Law enforcement expert Todd McGee says Bukhenik's testimony during the second Reed trial may also have been a factor in his transfer.
I thought he could have been more forthwith. There was some jousting that didn't come across professional. I thought he could have been more direct with his answers.
All right. Guys, I'm so glad. His shout out to this upstanding gentleman who said this. A lot of people were in the comments, in the live chat saying, it doesn't matter what they say. There's not going to be any ramifications. There's not going to be any issues. Yeah, Kelly Dever had an attitude, but who cares? And now we see all of these balls dropping. This man stated that while it's not a demotion,
Stop the cap.
This is a direct result and is going to be considered disciplinary action. And now he's saying here, we saw his conduct on the stand. We're not a fan. There was some jousting back and forth. You see NBC News Boston, they played the clip where he said that Proctor, disgraced Trooper Proctor, handled the investigation with honor and integrity. What? Come on, man.
So again, this is a temporary reassignment. It goes until October 4th. What his permanent position will be eventually, we don't know yet.
Janitor.
We're live in Framingham tonight. Michael Rosenfield, NBC 10 Boston.
They're going to promote him to janitor.
Earlier tonight, we spoke with Sue O'Connell, who served as our courtroom insider during the trial, both trials. She talked about how jurors in the retrial viewed Sergeant Bukhenik during his testimony.
Interesting.
One juror told me that she noticed Bukhenik making fists during cross-examination, and also told me that that giggle outburst that I reported among the 3 jurors, that was actually about something outlandish that Bukhenik said. So other jurors have said and told reporters that as the face of the investigation, they felt his testimony left them wondering why there were so many holes in it, and if it was bad police work or if it was tampering. And all of that led to not guilty verdicts on those 3 major charges.
Yeah, and that's not the end, guys, because there's a lot that happened before this situation with Yuri, right? Because Yuri's already been reprimanded for how he handled the investigation in general, and there's been other people involved, as we talked about Proctor. We're going to talk about Tully here in a second, who were reprimanded as well. All right, so what are they saying here? Yuri, a key investigator in the Karen Reed case, has been transferred to another Massachusetts State Police division just weeks after a high-profile trial ended. Bukhenik, who previously worked in the Norfolk County District Attorney's Michael Morrissey's office, has been reassigned to an administrative role with the Division of Standards and Training. Dang. He's in Farmingham. Anybody from that area? I'm sure this is a desirable area, right? Y'all let me know. The state police spokesperson, Tim McGurk, said, as a sergeant assigned to the DST commander's office, Sergeant Bukhenik will perform a variety of administrative functions in support of the division's daily operations. Oh my gosh. Reed was acquitted of murder charges and manslaughter charges on June 18th. Bukhenik testified in both Reed's first and second trials. After the first trial, Bukhenik forfeited 5 vacation days following an internal affairs investigation. Yes. The investigation found that Bukhenik should have reprimanded and reported former state trooper Proctor for sending inappropriate text messages about Reed on a group chat that included Bukhenik. Bukhenik read Proctor's text messages aloud in court during the second trial. In the text messages, Proctor referred to Reed as a whack job, or whack job, as they say there, and said in one message that hopefully she kills herself. Y'all remember this. Bukhenik testified that he did not respond with words to Proctor's message, but acknowledged one with a thumbs up emoji. Like, hey, yeah, me too. State police are currently accepting applications for Bukhenik's former position. Oh, man. As the colonel said, following the conclusion of the first trial, the events of the last 3 years have challenged our department to thoroughly review our actions and take concrete steps to deliver advanced investigative training, ensure appropriate oversight, and enhance accountability, McGurk said in the statement. Our focus remains on delivering excellent police services that reflect the value of professionalism and maintain the public trust. So again, I'll ask you guys, use the example I said before. If you're working for a company and they say, hey, we're going to move you to a different department. All right, but we love what you do. You do great work here. Also, it's going to be for another company, but you're still working under us. You know, you're still going to be in the same general area. And also, it's temporary, okay? So nothing to worry about. Although it's temporary, we're going to put applications out and let people apply for your job. How can 2 of those things be true? How can this only be temporary, or they're going to make a decision in October, whatever that means? But they're also, as this says, accepting applications for his position. Guys. Come on now. We're going to move forward. So how did we get here? It's a great question. We know that he was disciplined for his involvement in the investigation and how he acted during the Karen Reed trial. So let's check this out again from
We now
NBC
know
Boston.
the outcomes of two investigations where the police themselves. They are both related to the Karen Reed trial. First, let's talk about Detective Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik. Massachusetts State Police announced he will have to give back 5 vacation days as part of his discipline. This is after an investigation found he failed to properly supervise or counsel a subordinate. This all stemmed from testimony during the Karen Reed trial, where we learned Trooper Michael Proctor, the lead investigator, sent Bukhenik and others derogatory text messages about Reed. Meanwhile, Canton PD has docked 3 days' pay from Detective Kevin Albert.
Oh,
they
not
say
Kevin.
He was under investigation after a night of drinking with Trooper Proctor. That came to light during Proctor's testimony in the Karen Reed trial. An independent investigation revealed Albert ordered and drank alcohol while on duty without authorization. Kevin Albert is the brother of a Canton Select Board member, and his other brother, Brian, owned the home outside of which John O'Keefe was found dead. We spoke to a former Mass State Police instructor who says the extent of the discipline in these cases does not appear to be winning the public's trust.
Policy is policy. It's an administrative action within the individual police departments. But my honest feeling is that until there's justice for John O'Keefe, that public trust it won't be restored with other administrative actions.
Michael Proctor is the central figure of alleged police misconduct in the Reed trial. He's the only one to be suspended without pay so far. However, more could be coming. His IA investigation is ongoing.
And that happened in September, guys. Also, that's not the last thing that happened, right? Because as you guys mentioned, there were other people who were disciplined because of this. We had Proctor, obviously, he was laid off for a minute and then fired. Now we've got Yuri, and we've got to talk about Brian Tully because we have not talked about that yet on this channel. What happened to Lieutenant Brian Tully in this? Well, Brian Tully got transferred out of Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. Man, check this out.
Out from police testimony in the Karen Reed trial. I-Team sources say Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully, who was also the case unit commander at the Norfolk DA's office, has been transferred out of that office and moved to the headquarters investigative unit.
Insane.
Tully is one of Trooper Michael Proctor's supervisors, who's been under internal investigation since Proctor testified in the trial.
All right, so there's that part of it, right? So now we're going to move forward and look at what happened and why this happened to Tully. What did he do? The State Police Detective Unit Commander at the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office has been transferred. Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully, who remains the subject of an ongoing internal affairs investigation, has transitioned to a temporary assignment in the Division of Investigative Services. Y'all see the pattern? You see the pattern that's happening here? Again, they're saying he's being transitioned. He's being rehomed, as you guys say. It's just temporary, right? Is he still there? He's being transitioned to a temporary assignment in the Division of Investigative Services, State Police said on Friday. This was Friday back in September. Tully was one of Trooper Michael Proctor's supervisors. Proctor, the lead investigator in the Karen Reed case, was relieved of duties hours after the judge declared a mistrial in July. Trooper Proctor remains on unpaid leave as he awaits the outcome of an internal affairs investigation. We now know he was fired. All right. On the witness stand during Reed's trial, Proctor admitted that he sent offensive text messages about her during the investigation. It was disclosed that Proctor spoke inappropriately about Reed in a group chat with the other troopers. Tully also testified during Reed's trial, and Tully was transferred after Colonel Jeffrey Noble, the head of the Massachusetts State Police, conducted an initial review. Wow. A spokesperson for the state police said Detective Lieutenant Tully will continue to be available to assist the Norfolk DA's office with any cases he was previously involved with. Wow. That's not the end of it, guys. Because now this is a little bit of a rumor. I'm not going to cover it too much, but this is something interesting that I saw over on X. It looks like our favorite testimony during this trial, Officer Dever, Kelly Dever, is taking a leave of absence. Now, they're saying it's because of family issues. They're saying it's because of other issues. But I have a feeling that where there's smoke, there's going to be some fire. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on with the Kelly Dever situation. I think she, out of everyone that testified during this second Karen Reed trial, when it came to the professionals, was the worst testimony, the least unprofessional. So we'll have to see if anything happens here. I know she just got a big old raise, so she's probably not going anywhere. But let me know what y'all think about Yuri being rehomed, reassigned. How would y'all take this? You think he's fired? You think he's about to be up out of there? Or is this just temporary, as the state is telling us? Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Oh man, Karen Reed, the gift that keeps on giving. Shout out to Karen Reed, Officer Dever. Oh man. No, Dever is confirmed. No rumor. Well, I was just saying as to why she's taking the leave. Yuri and Dever both make well into 6-digit salary, which, yeah, I looked at that. For the area, it's really not that much. I mean, they're looking at California prices out there. I don't know why anyone will move out there. I guess for work, but it's insane. The unions are working hard for their dues right now. They also are dropping the ball in the Walsh case as well. I haven't looked at Walsh. We might have to talk about that tomorrow. If they see is taking a leave of absence and say it's for family issues, it's definitely not family issues. Yeah, y'all remember during the YSL trial, Attorney Love, or ADA Love, she had to take a leave of absence. Wasn't that her? Was it her or was it Simone? I think it was Miss Love. One of them took a leave of absence in the middle of the trial. Okay. Somebody within Canton Police Department office thinks all these folks are involved in another officer's death. It wouldn't be crazy. Oh man, wouldn't it be crazy they let all these people go like this and they get demoted and moved to another area temporarily, and then the feds just come in? Yikes. It was Love. Okay, I thought so. Yep. Bro, you got to look into the Brian Walsh case. Same crew. All right, we'll look at it. Walsh and Turtle Boy pre-trial hearings. I love this channel. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We're over here just having fun, doing some work. It's like a game of Canton chess. I can't keep up. There's too many bad apples. They need to just throw this whole card away for real. My goodness, man. That's what I thought too. It was probably a mishandling of evidence, not following the chain of custody. What chain of custody? You mean you can't just take evidence from an alleged crime scene and leave it in your car for over a month? What? Chain of custody. Tomato, tomato. They said, we don't want you here, bro. How would y'all feel? Did y'all answer my question? How would y'all feel if the job you work for did that? Like, hey, we're just going to move you to another area. We think you would be better suited helping us with the daily activities over here instead of overseeing investigations. You know, you were just so good at it. We're going to give you a break. Oh man. But much messier on Brian Walsh. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. Well, they transferred Proctor before firing him. Dang. Well, dang. It's only temporary, guys. Chloe caused this. This channel is appointment viewing for me now. Oh, wish I found it way sooner. Thank you, Northern DC. I appreciate that. Hey, we're not going anywhere, so stick around. We're going to be here. I'd be looking for a new job, says A Fitz. As would I. Maybe Dever and Urine. Said urine.
Hey, yo.
Got caught bumping uglies. Oh, man. I bet Yuri wishes he could get a piece of that. Glad to hear it. Drat, have to go. Okay. I can't wait for Cassie to go down. She's not a victim, period. Oh, man, Tia, you're taking shots. It's true. I mean, she's a victim of DV. That's about it, in my opinion. They didn't get a warrant for all the evidence they have on Walsh. Oh, my gosh. Are you serious? It's only temporary, they say, but they posted for a permanent replacement. How does that work? How do you say, hey, God, it's just temporary, but we're going to fill your position while you're transitioning? Oh, this is insane that we're just supposed to pretend like this isn't happening. All right. Before we get into this next topic, I was actually not going to cover this next topic, but because we're here just ishing on the Boston Police Department, I stumbled upon this story. And I'm going to warn you guys now. This is a trigger warning. This is going to be a very, 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 very difficult story to hear. If you are sensitive to crimes against children, if you were a victim of a crime against a child, or if you were a victim of a crime as a child of a certain nature, I think you guys can pick up what I'm putting down. You might want to sit this one out. This is the biggest trigger warning I can give. Now, thankfully in this case, what happened here wasn't to a toddler. It was someone who was maybe a little bit older and in some ways understood what was going on. So I'll leave that part of it. This person's 14, 15 years old, but it has to do again with the Boston police. Okay. So again, I want to give you guys a trigger warning. I don't usually do this. I tell y'all, suck it up. We're just talking about the facts. When it comes to kids, it's really difficult for me to hear someone doing a crime against a child in any way. So again, I want to issue that. Y'all be warned, and we're going to get into it here shortly. All right. I got a couple more super chats I'm going to read, and then we'll get into our next topic. Shout out to the gang. We've got Shine On You Crazy Diamond in the building. Okay, with the 6 euros. I got it right that time. That's euros, guys. Says, hey, ClassE, sorry I'm late. Greetings from Germany. I love your content. Thank you for being here, and shout out to Germany and German engineering. I love me some German engineering, man. Y'all be killing it over there. Shout out to Ramstein, too. Appreciate you being here, and thank you for the support. Shine On You Crazy Diamond. What time is it in Germany? It's probably... seats. Well, it's about what, 6, 7 in the afternoon for y'all. Shout out to Germany. Boston/Canton LE needs a complete overhaul. So many dirty dealings. No, this isn't about Sarah Birchmore. Hey, ClassE, new subby here. Thank you for subscribing. Love this video on Yuri and other POs that must be deluded if they think they're all I can't read. They must be deluded if they think they're at all competent. No, they are not. And welcome to you, Rich Auntie. I appreciate you being here. No, they are not. And it's seen. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them about to go down. I love watching your channel because you don't pick sides. You analyze everything. Thank you very much for your content. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, I figured it was about 6, 7. It's 7 in Romania. Shout out to Romania. Look at everybody here. Y'all shout out your city, your country, your state. Where are y'all from? Where's everybody in here from? Love me some German engineering too. Best cars for sure. Yeah, I love mine. Shout out to the German engineering. And thank y'all for the love today, man. Y'all are hyping me up over here. A kid is a kid is a kid. That's true. But as we've seen, even if you think about the what's his name? Carmelo Anthony case, kids can make decisions, right? So again, that's why I bring that up, because a kid versus a toddler versus a teenager, there's different things there. Now, when it comes to crimes against kids, I don't give any grace. I don't care. I think they should all be lumped into one when it comes to crimes against kids. So I don't care if they're 1 or if they're 17. Just throw them under the jail. Shout out to, look at the game. Fayetteville, North Carolina, Belmar, New Jersey, 5 p.m. in Scotland. We got a lot of Scottish people and Irish folk in the building. Appreciate you being here. That's dope. We've got Mildenhall. I've never heard of Mildenhall. Shout out to everyone who's across the pond over there. Appreciate you, D. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Canada. Shout out to the north. Philadelphia in the building. We've got Romania in here, as I mentioned. Chicago, thank you for being here, Jai Jai. New to the channel. Shout out to Chi-Town. We've got Glasgow, Scotland in here. Tennessee, oh, one of my favorite states in the entire United States. Fayetteville, North Carolina in the building. All right, I see you. Amy says, I'm from Pineapple. Shout out to Amy's Pineapples. We got Beantown. Okay, I see you. Canada again. We got little old Iowa in here. I think you, Cat Lady, you are the first person I've heard from Iowa. Shout out to Caitlin Clark. The only reason I watched some WNBA clips. I haven't watched the whole game, but I'll watch some clips. All right. Shout out to CC. Oh, wow, ClassE is awesome. All the people from other countries. I love how international we are here. Taco Tuesday from Mars. I believe that. London sending love. Okay. Y'all are getting ready to have dinner over there. I love the international community here. Love that for you, ClassE. Hey, we're a family, y'all. Chicago, Seattle, Portland, Oregon. I see y'all out there. Erie, Pennsylvania. Seems to be popular. We got Philly in the building too as well. And y'all know we're here in Atlanta. I'm here in Atlanta. Amy's here in Atlanta. We doing our thing. Did I see Dottie in there earlier too? Speaking of, I think I missed her comment. Shout out to Dottie in the building. Good morning. Amazing Grace. I love you. Thank you for being here. We up here in Atlanta doing our thing. We got Nova Scotia. Okay. North Dakota's in here. Detroit. What up though? We got Nebraska, North Carolina, Suffolk. 5 minutes away from the U.S. Air Force Base. Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Indonesia. Wow, Johannesburg, South Africa. I want to visit there so bad. Pensacola, Florida. Brentwood, Tennessee. Oh, Trisha. You were near where I was. I love Brentwood. I love Franklin. I love Spring Hill. I love Columbia. Middle Tennessee is the place to be, y'all. If you have not been to Middle Tennessee, oh my goodness. I love it. I absolutely love it in Middle Tennessee. Shout out to Brentwood, man. Absolutely beautiful. We've got North California in the building. Birmingham, Alabama, but in Memphis, Tennessee today. Okay. Middle Tennessee is still better though. Shout out to West Tennessee, East Tennessee. Y'all think y'all something, but no. Middle Tennessee is where it's at. Retirement in Tennessee. Amy knows what's up. Love it. Yes. Idaho. Okay. That might be the first Idaho. I love how this man talks. Seriously, I love how this man talks because he just don't say anything negative. I love this man. Oh man, appreciate the love. Y'all are showing so much love. And Amy's saying ClassE's the only 10 I see. Amy's talking about herself the entire show. It's crazy. Shout out to Amy. Always showing love too. Memphis, Tennessee is here. Yeah, we got y'all from everywhere, man. Central Wisconsin's in the building. Oh my gosh. And we got Slim Life New Jersey in here showing some love. We are family. She says, welcome to all the new members. Appreciate y'all, man. And guys, listen. We're not going to agree on everything, all right? Just like family does. But this is a safe place for disagreements and differing views. It's okay. We don't have to get personal. We don't have to get angry and say, I'm unsubscribing. I disagreed with you. No, we can have the conversation, have back and forth, and we can agree to disagree. And we'll take each segment, each case by case. All right. So that's the community we're building here. And I appreciate y'all being a part of it wherever you are. Yonkers, Plano, Texas, Gwinnett County. Oh, shout out to Gwinnett County right around the corner. Cincinnati, Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's go. Idaho.
Hey, yo.
You just wanted me to say that. Yo, that's crazy, man. Clarksville, Tennessee. Okay, I know Clarksville, but in Denver, Colorado on nursing assignment right now. Shout out to the traveling nurses out here getting the bag. I see you, Holly. Holly be out there getting it. I know. I've worked with y'all's traveling nurses. Y'all be out here doing it. Shout out to all the traveling nurses. All right, let's get to this last topic. I told y'all this was going to be a rough one. I really wanted to give some of you time to exit the show if you need to. And that's why I saved this one for last. This is not the best for last. And again, just shining a light not only on police corruption, but some of the corruption that's happening specifically in the BPD, which we've been talking about at length for the past several months. So let me go ahead and update this headline and we'll get into it. Brooklyn, New York in the building. Hey, shout out to you. Appreciate you being here. Ooh, Chesapeake, Virginia. Okay. We got Kennesaw, Georgia. All right. Shout out to Kennesaw. Right up the street. Washington State's up in here too. Y'all don't get enough respect, man. Y'all need to put some respect on Washington State. Beautiful out there. There's a Navy base out there in Washington State. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get into it. Boy. Guys, again, I did not want to report on this, but I saw the story. And as you know, we have been involved in and been talking about what's been going on in the state of Massachusetts, but specifically Boston PD, Canton PD, when we were covering the Karen Reed trial. Now, in some ways, this is totally unrelated to the Karen Reed trial, but I wanted to point this out. And I think anytime I see a child become a victim of a crime, we're going to cover it here on the channel. We got to talk about it. And specifically when someone who is supposed to be a public servant, with someone who is supposed to protect and supposed to serve, doing this and participating in this type of activity with the child, we've got to call it out because this is absolutely sad, absolutely disgusting. And there's already been a lot of evidence that has been shown to what this man did. So I'm going to let you guys listen to the video, give you a background. Then we're actually going to go into a little bit of the court proceedings and see what the judge decided when it comes to bond for this disgrace of a human being. Here we go.
A Boston police officer in handcuffs. Sergeant Paul Downey accused of paying for sex with a teenage boy he met online. Tonight, Downey remains behind bars.
And his own department is praising the work of state police investigators for that arrest.
As
WBZ's Louisa Moeller reports, clues eventually led them to a Boston police parking lot.
Being charged with 4 counts of aggravated rape of a child, 1 count of sexual conduct with a child under 18.
Boston Police Sergeant Paul Downey turned his back to the court as his 8 charges related to rape of a child were read aloud. But the case against the veteran police officer is going nowhere until tomorrow.
It gets worse,
no attorney available to defend him.
Mr. Downey, I do not have an attorney to appoint to you, sir.
Investigators say Downey met a 14-year-old boy on the dating app Grindr. Then their conversation moved to Snapchat. The 58-year-old accused of meeting the boy twice this spring at different Boston locations and paying the child for sexual acts. The boy allegedly provided state police detectives with a description of Downey and a partial license plate number, which was tracked to a known parking area for Boston police. They also used digital records to track his Snapchat account, and the boy ID'd him in a photo lineup.
The Commonwealth would be asking for a $250,000 cash bail.
With no attorney, Downey will spend the night in jail and learn whether he will be released and on what conditions tomorrow. We went to his West Roxbury home to see if anyone could comment on his behalf, and nobody answered. Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox released a statement saying, "These charges are obviously very troubling, and our thoughts are with any alleged victims. We have faith in the Massachusetts State Police and the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office to conduct a thorough investigation." The officer was immediately placed on administrative leave. Downey joined the Boston Police.
The fact that this guy is placed on leave is insane. Can I point that out? The fact that this man has been placed on administrative leave is crazy. And I say this because I know what happened, because we're going to hear about it here shortly. And when you guys hear the crimes that are alleged and what actually went down, and then you hear that this guy is on administrative leave, I think you'll feel the same.
Police force in 1991. In West Roxbury, Louisa Moeller, WBZ News.
Let's keep going because there's more information about this.
A Boston police sergeant is on paid leave tonight after turning his back to cameras in court today. He is accused of raping a teenage boy multiple times.
Sergeant Paul Downey has been on the force for nearly 35 years. NBC 10's John Maroney joins us live from Dorchester District Court with details on the allegations against the sergeant. John?
And they have the evidence already.
Colton, that sergeant is in big trouble with the law tonight after getting accused of raping a 14-year-old boy.
I'm going to hear from the
14
Commonwealth
guys.
and find out what the situation is.
Paul Downey in court hiding his face from cameras. A member of the Boston PD for more than 3 decades, the 58-year-old sergeant is accused of paying a 14-year-old boy for sex.
Commonwealth is moving for arraignment. The clerk is going to read you the charges.
The charges include 4 counts of aggravated rape of a
4 counts of aggravated. I can't even say it. This is a guy on administrative leave, okay? Just so you know.
child, 2 counts of engaging in sexual conduct with a child under 18 for a fee, and 2 counts of enticing a child under the age of 18 to engage in commercial sexual activity.
Hey, no worries, Sergeant. You might be able to come back. Just take some time off to figure things out.
An attorney?
The Suffolk County DA says Downey met the youngster on the dating app Grindr and later communicated with him on Snapchat. Investigators say the suspect and the victim were together in March and May. They say the 14-year-old performed oral sex on Downey or was raped by the officer, who allegedly paid the teen between $30 and $80.
Mr. Downey, I do not have an attorney to appoint to you, sir.
The DA says the sergeant was tracked through his Snapchat and his car was located in a police parking lot. The police commissioner said in a statement, "These charges are obviously very troubling and our thoughts are with any of the alleged victims," adding that he trusts the investigation and Sergeant Downey is now on administrative leave. Now, the defendant did not have an attorney, and there was not one available for him at court, so his arraignment was continued until tomorrow morning. Live in Dorchester, John Maroney, NBC 10 Boston.
Guys, I told you we were going to get into the details. Again, I don't know if I'm going to put this video out for the public. This might be one that I do as members only, just because we try and keep it a family show here. But I think it's important to hear exactly how this went down. Prosecutors are going to talk about it here during the court proceedings.
All right. Good morning, Attorney Campbell. Attorney Diavolo. Good morning, Mr. Downey.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Attorney Campbell, he was arraigned yesterday. However, I wanted to give you the opportunity if you wanted the reading or not.
I would waive the formal reading.
All right.
Ask the plea not guilty.
Thank you. All right. Attorney Diavolo.
Yes, Your Honor. So the Commonwealth would be requesting a
Where's the
$250,000 cash bail, as well as the Commonwealth's requested pretrial conditions of release, which was filed yesterday. Those include 9 conditions of release, as well as an attached map for an exclusion zone with a GPS. The Commonwealth believes that a $250,000 cash bail is necessary here to ensure the defendant's return to court. I would point out first the defendant's resources. I believe through the public records database, he made up close to $280,000 last year. The other thing I would like to point out to Your Honor is he is facing 4 charges right now that contain 10-year mandatory minimum state prison sentences. Pointing to the facts of the case as well, I would also point out to the strengths of the Commonwealth's case. So here, Mr. Downey is charged with an aggravated rape of a child. It's the same child both on March 26th and on May 11th. Mr. Downey is alleged to have penetrated the anus of the child, utilizing his finger on the first offense, and then utilizing his penis also on the first offense. And then on the second offense, which was the May 11th offense, he's alleged to have had the child perform oral sex on him and then penetrated the child's anus again with his penis. The Commonwealth's evidence to lead to the identification of Mr. Downey started with a forensic interview of that child. Through that forensic interview, the Commonwealth was able to collect screenshots from Snapchat for the communications that the Commonwealth alleges was Mr. Downey, where they are negotiating a price. The child says to the individual who's asking for the price of $50.
They're negotiating a price. You guys think this is the first time he's done this? Just curious.
For the communications that the Commonwealth alleges was Mr. Downey, where they are negotiating a price. The child says to the individual who's asking for the price of $50 again, which is in reference to the March 26th incident. The child essentially says, "That's too low. I'm 14. I'm young, and you're asking me to commit a crime." And the defendant responds with, "How about 80?" The process of the identification, as well as the juvenile also provided us with a partial plate of the vehicle, a description of the suspect, and a description of the vehicle that was utilized. We also had text message communications with the juvenile's friend, who he was having a sleepover with that night. That provided us a very detailed window of when he was picked up by the defendant and when he was dropped off by the defendant. Utilizing that information, we were able to collect video surveillance from the South Bay Mall off an apartment building that's facing a parking lot area that was described by that juvenile. A black Chrysler 300 is observed in the video, lining up with the drive time of when the text message from the juvenile was sent to his friend saying he's here. It was approximately a 1-minute drive, and the vehicle utilized the path that Google Maps recommends. The vehicle remains parked for a period of 10 minutes. At that point is when the Commonwealth is alleging the rape of the child occurred, and the vehicle left at approximately 1:04 a.m. from that South Bay Plaza Mall, driving along a different roadway than it approached, which again follows the path of travel from Google Maps. And Google Maps refers to about a 2-minute drive time, and the child reached out to his friend at approximately 1:06.
It looks like there's something missing here. I don't know. It seems like there should be, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Anyway.
7 a.m. indicating that he was dropped off. We were able to issue subpoenas to Snapchat for the username from the Snapchat conversations. With that username and that information that we received from Snapchat themselves, we were able to get IP logs. Those IP logs provided the defendants an IP address that was found to be associated with the defendant through further subpoenas with Comcast. There were also IP logs from Snapchat that show a static IP address from the city of Boston. Further into the investigation, once we learned the defendant's identity from that, we did a cursory look of the address of the defendant's house, and in front of his house, parked perpendicular to the house, is a Chrysler 300 vehicle that's black and has black tinted windows, which matches the description of the child. We initially did a partial plate query with no results. Once we learned that Mr. Downey was a member of the Boston Police Department and actively working at Boston Police Headquarters, the Massachusetts State Police went and did a canvass of the area, the different parking areas for Boston Police HQ, found a vehicle matching the description that was missing the first digit and was 1 digit off on the plate from what the juvenile provided. That license plate came back again to Mr. Paul Downey with the same address that was used from the records that were received from Comcast. The same phone number that was on Snapchat was also associated with Comcast, and the phone that was recovered off from Mr. Downey also had that same phone number, the phone being what was recovered at the time of arrest. Lastly, as the last step, we did a photo array with the juvenile in question on Friday, and the juvenile initially made a positive ID with a 90% certainty of that identity. The positive ID was a licensed R&B photo of Paul Downey. So with the evidence that's pushed against Mr. Downey, understanding he has no record, he is facing severe penalties with 4 different counts that contain 10-year mandatory minimum sentences. The evidence that we have and the strengths of the Commonwealth's case, as well as his financial resources, the Commonwealth does suggest to this court that a $250,000 cash bail is necessary to ensure his return to court. And relating to the pretrial conditions of release, the Commonwealth would suggest those conditions of release are necessary to ensure the safety of the victim and any potential future victims.
Yeah, I mean, can we make it $1 million? Y'all are saying no bail. Can we make it $1 million? Let's just get it over. I mean, this guy is done. There's nothing to see here. They say they've got the text messages, they've got the Snapchat, they've got his car. What do we need to see here? This is going to be a waste. Well, this man is a waste of the Commonwealth's dollars, but they like doing that here.
You said you passed those up already?
Yes.
Madam Clerk, do you have those? Madam Clerk, do you have those conditions of release? Have you had a chance to look at the proposed conditions?
For the record, there is no objection to the proposed conditions of release in the Commonwealth this week.
Throw him under the jail. Under the jail.
I don't have those, Mr. Diavolo. Can you tell me?
I have extra copies, Your Honor.
He should just plead guilty.
All right, thank you. I have them, Mr. Diavolo. All right, so
He won't even face the camera. Disgusting.
Okay, all right. Anything else, Mr. Diavolo?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Attorney Campbell.
Thank you, Your Honor. Recognizing the severity of the allegations that are before the court today and recognizing the Commonwealth's request, the primary purpose of bail is to ensure Mr. Downey's reappearance in court. And he has no record, there's no indication that he otherwise would not come to court. $250 is far outside of the realm of what he can post. What I would ask Your Honor to do is impose no more than a $40,000 cash bail, as that is the upper limit of what his family could post. I think with respect to Mr. Downey and his family, he does have some family in the audience today. He does live with his 25-year-old child full-time. He is a high school graduate. He's a military veteran of the Marine Corps. Obviously, as Your Honor knows,
24-year-old child,
a member of the Boston Police for 30-plus years. Obviously, did the academy as a result of that. He's been in Boston his entire life, has several cousins and other family members here. He is not a risk of flight. He has been...
Yeah, guess what? We don't care. I know she's just doing her job. Can't be mad at her. We don't care. We don't care. They've got the text messages. They got Snapchat. I don't shut it down. Shut this down. There's a nice place under the jail for this dude. Just go ahead and take it.
And all accounts suggest that he has been nothing but compliant and cordial with not only his arrest, but also today as he has been here. With respect to, obviously, the allegations are serious. We are not making a probable cause objection at this time, but I would ask Your Honor to impose no more than a $40,000 cash bail, and as I stated, no objection to the proposed conditions of release that the Commonwealth is asking for.
And you know what's funny? For those of y'all who know, been in corrections, worked in corrections, been incarcerated, what's worse? Someone who abuses children going into prison, a police officer going into prison, or a police officer who abuses children going into prison. Which y'all let me know. I think most of you could answer that one.
The proposed conditions of release that the Commonwealth is asking for.
He's done. Get this guy out of here.
And are you entering your appearance for bail purposes only?
For bail purposes only, please, Your Honor. Thank you.
This is like this dude is the worst of the worst person you could be. I don't know. I'm trying to think what could make him worse. He's white. He's a police officer, and he's going to be convicted as a child predator. I don't know what could be worse than that. I don't know. No, me either, Steph and Kelly. I can't not be fair with crimes against kids. I can't do it. Look at this judge. He about to make it 250 million. Jesus, man. $25,000?
All right, thank you both. I do find that the serious nature of the charges that Mr. Downey faces, as well as the potential penalties on all of these, on the multiple counts, and his financial resources do pose a risk of flight. So the bill will be set in the amount of $250,000 cash, and the Commonwealth's requested conditions will be imposed. What date for probable cause, Attorney Campbell? I understand you won't be appearing. If you could just pick a date.
There you go, Judge. July 29th, please.
July 29th.
Thank you.
All right. And do you know if Mr. Downey's family has had a chance to reach out to potential counsel?
In my conversations with the Commonwealth, it does appear there is one attorney that they have spoken with. I intend to reach out to them, but I otherwise have no confirmation.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
In Your Honor, the Commonwealth also yesterday filed motion to impound or redact confidential information and motion to restrict distribution of electronic audio and visual recordings. I'd ask that those be allowed without prejudice. Main basis, if he does it retain counsel between now and the probable cause date, I'd be turning over a lot of discovery, so I would ask that those be in place.
It's a different one. It's different from this one.
Yeah, I'm with y'all on this. I see y'all saying this in the chat. When it comes to kids, crimes against children, I can't be objective. I see this, I hear this, and guilty. There were text messages exchanged. You met with the kid, you're done, in my opinion. So this PDF police officer going in jail, what's going to happen is what's going to happen. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. I pretty much know how everybody feels about this. I'm not going to follow the court proceedings on this one, but I do want to know the outcome, and at least you can have somewhat of a smile when we find out this guy's going to be in jail for the remainder of what's left of his disgusting, miserable life. Anyway, that's how I feel about it. Kids are off limits. I agree. We can't. No, we're not. Nope. No. Appreciate you, Rhonda. Thank you for being here. 250 cash. Yeah, you got to pay up. Man. 250 is way too low to prevent a flight risk. Yeah, this man would disappear. A PDF police officer. And he's on paid leave, by the way, guys. Don't forget that. Don't forget he's on paid leave. So, there's that part. I can't be fair either. Kids are off limits. They will throw the book at him at trial to try and save face in this corrupt town. It just keeps more and more. You've got Birchmore. You've got this case. What is going on, man? Thank you to everyone who's in here. I appreciate nearly 100% of you liked the video. It was a quick live stream today, but y'all know we do not miss. We're going to be back here tomorrow morning for another show. So I'll be keeping you guys up to date. What's going on in the legal world? We're going to talk about some of the upcoming trials we have soon. We got YNW Melly. We got, speaking of crimes against children, Naziah Harris. Oh man, so sad. So y'all stay ready and looking out for that. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. Also, please make sure you like the video on your way out. Likes are free, guys. It helps the channel continue to grow. Y'all have a great rest of your afternoon, great rest of your evening for those of you across the pond. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace. Y'all are amazing, man. Shout